All he'd have to do is say, I'm not natural, I'm on HRT, whatever. Everything he does would be amazing. See, you can in fact win, Mike. You just have to be actually natural. Coach Greg, and today I'm doing a response to Mike Thurston, okay? Recently, Mike Thurston went on a podcast called Traveling Steroids and How to Build an Audience. Mike Thurston, Modern Wisdom Podcast 249. Part of the Modern Wisdom channel. And in the video, he talked a lot about Coach Greg and his stance that he's in fact natural.
I think Greg Doucette did like 3 videos of me this summer, which is...
Easy views, man.
Yeah, so in a way it's good because I get some publicity from him.
Notice the attire I have. I'm dressed like Mike Thurston when he rode his bicycle around Ibiza. So not all of my videos are just, oh, he's not natural. I actually talk about Mike in a good way. I actually say he's smart, educated, he understands what he's talking about, and he gives great advice. I do watch Mike Thurston. I do recommend you watch his channel.
The thing that annoys me is when people will message me and be like, oh, do you know, I used to think you were such a role model, but now that I know that you're not natural, I just...
Because of some guy's video on YouTube.
Because he has a proper cult following. People believe everything he says.
Does it matter what I think? If you're actually natural, imagine that you are in fact natural, which of course you're not, but imagine if you were. It's a huge compliment that I don't think that you're natural. Listen, the first problem is you're choosing if someone's a role model or not based on the fact if they're on HRT or not or on PDs. That's ridiculous. You don't choose a role model based on if they're natural or not. Well, oh, you don't drink alcohol, you don't smoke weed, you're my role model. It doesn't affect you as a person whether or not you're taking PDs or not.
He said I had 6% body fat, which is not true. No way do I have 6%.
Why?
I would say most of the time hovering around 10, 11.
You guys seen this guy at his best? You gonna say that he's 10 or 11%? Most people will be like, 10 or 11? If that's 10 or 11, my goal is to be 20. Mike, 10 or 11%, maybe in your fattest off season in the last 10 years, that's where you are. Most of the time, you're shredded, you're leaner than me, and I'm 9%.
I don't have a huge amount on like my abs or like my torso area. It's like a lot of it's on my thighs and lower back.
And he's literally got the quads of freaking the gods. Are you seeing these legs? Oh, I carry all my fat in my quads. So you see how fat my quads are? He's got striations in his quads running. When you're a fake natty, you try to downplay your physique. It's the lighting, you know, I don't actually look like that. It's the lighting. A certain angle, probably a professional photographer, he knew how to crop it right and maybe they changed it. It's a structure. And
I think a lot of people assume that I hold, you know, that peak condition which I was in. They assume I'm like that all the time, but I'm not.
Have you seen a bad photo of Mike Thurston in the last 10 years? Find it and show me. Show me the picture of Mike Thurston not looking thirstier than last time in the last 10 years. No, I don't peak. I don't hold condition. You know, sometimes I'm in shape, sometimes I'm not. I'm not saying he's abusing PDs. I'm not saying he's on trend and everything. Maybe he is. You just need a little bit. Could be SARMs. Available anywhere. Type in Google send. Easy to get.
When I'm looking like a little bit chubbier for me, I'm not going to take a picture of myself like that. Or I'm going to find like the lighting where I look the best and then I'll show people.
So for example, on his tour of Ibiza with the bicycle, all those photographers, a professional photographer, probably followed him along in a taxi and stopped and took pictures and videos of him on his bicycle looking like a friggin' freak. Professional photographer in videos. The photographer videos and he looked amazing the whole time video. And clearly he has gifted genetics. He shows a picture of him at 10, and he's clearly gifted. That's how he can look like this at his age with PDs. You need extremely good genetics, and then with the PDs, then you can look like Mike Thurston. So this is what I'm trying to say. If he had a horrible physique at age 10, and then he took PDs, he probably wouldn't look the way he does now. You need a great physique at a young age, great genetics, then the PDs, that makes you look like an elite superstar.
And seeing that trajectory, you've got sort of linearly bigger pretty much since I've known you. Mm-hmm. So maybe plateaued a little bit over the last like sort of 4 years. Conditions maybe improved a little bit. But you essentially just got linearly bigger.
Yeah.
From when we've known each other.
I like the fact that say, hey, it's just you had linear gains. You know, slow and steady gains, that's proof that you're natural. Nope. If you're in fact natural, what happens is you make dramatic gains at the start, and then it tapers off, and then you don't make any gains at all. That's actually a natural's progress. Slow and steady gains for 10 years straight, That is not what natural progression looks like. More gains, newbie gains, followed by declining speed of growth is what actually happens when you're natural, okay? So if you see someone putting on 5 pounds every single year, year after year, oh, I put on 50 pounds, but it took me 10 years, 50 pounds. That's a sign that they probably took a little bit of stuff to keep that rate going.
The only other thing, like if anyone's got questions, and this is what I always say, because people know that I know you, and they say, like, fucking hell, what's he on? I'm like, he travels to a lot of different countries. How effective at smuggling drugs? Like, not only is he a YouTuber, but he's also like a top-level drug runner.
Or he just has a prescription and brings it across the border with no problem. Or he brings SARMs across the border, which aren't even illegal to bring across the border. Think of it, I have a criminal record, I brought Austria to friggin' Cuba, and they show the bottle, they don't care, it's not illegal. Not illegal, you don't have to hide it. And you think it's hard to order these things? Think of the reasoning they're using to help them look natural. I'm in Dubai travel, so I must either be the best drug smuggler in the world, or I'm natural. You're allowed to bring half the PDs wherever you want. It's not like they're illegal. I'm not saying Mike Thurston's breaking the law at all. I'm just saying I don't think he's natural.
I've seen Simeon Panda. He tried to make a video claiming that he was natural. And he got so much hate for it. So much hate.
What did he do wrong?
He lied about being natural.
I think people just don't believe him. They look at his physique and they're like, no, it's not possible that you're natural.
Do you think he is?
He could be.
Imagine he says no. I mean, he has to say he thinks that he could be. He should have said, yeah, I do, because then it would be like, well, if Simeon Panda's natural, it makes it more likely that Mike is. Like, he's not an idiot. I'd already told you he's a smart guy. He's carefully answering these questions. Yeah, he could be, because it makes it more believable that he's natural if Simeon's natural.
All these people that make videos about me, it's like, you don't know me. You don't know what I do. This is just you making an assumption based on the way I look.
Correct. I make an assumption based on the way you look and the history of your pictures and the fact that you have shredded quads and muscles oozing out of everywhere, looking delicious all the time, and then stand there and say, yeah, it's probably 10% body fat, maybe 11, and I just don't carry fat in my abs. It's in my thighs.
If somebody is in their head convinced that you take steroids, it's almost impossible to change their mind.
Yeah, Russell here then says, hold my video camera, and does a response to Coach Greg, and I immediately do a response back, say he's natural. Passed 16 drug tests, most of which out of meat, with no knowledge the test is coming, passes the test at any time. And he doesn't have declining performance at competitions. So if somebody's trying to beat up drug tests, they're gonna have to stop taking what they're taking, and then they're gonna have a decline in performance. They'll look less shredded, less massive, less strong. And then they do the drug test and they might pass, but they look worse. Now, if you actually take a drug test and pass it and your physique stays the same and you're just as strong, very convincing argument that you're natural. And I would in fact do a video saying, I think he's natural. He did 3 out of meat drug tests. He's been randomly tested with no knowledge of what's going on by WADA or an IOC accredited lab where they test for everything. And he passed and he hasn't lost anything in his physique. You're going to be natural. Imagine how much people would believe you. Imagine if I do a video, say, Mike Thurston, I know now he did this, he got this many drug tests, he passed, and do the video. See, you can in fact win, Mike. You just have to be actually natural.
Pointless debates. I used to argue with people. I used to get into arguments with people online and try and prove, in the comments, like, no, I'm natural because I learned it. Just a huge waste of energy. I spent all day, every day arguing with people as to whether I'm natural or not.
On your own YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube, on Instagram, whatever it might be. And I'm like, it's not productive whatsoever.
And frankly, Mike's worrying way too much about if he's natural or not. Now, the sign of being a fake natty is you worry too much about people accusing you of being a fake natty. Sign of being natural is not caring what people think. If you're natural, you want people to think you're enhanced. If they don't, it means your physique sucks now, doesn't it?
Have you ever been tempted to take steroids?
I've been curious to know what I would look like, but I think I would just look freaky, like too big. I don't want to be that big. Like I've been very content with the way I have looked and my progression. If I wanted to take my condition to the next level, what would have to happen is I would have to live a very monk-like existence.
Even though you couldn't just take a little bit. Teensy weensy about make enough of a difference. He's like, yeah, and if I want to improve, I'd have to stop drinking, sleep 8 hours a day, train perfectly, have a professional coach, probably eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, and that's it, and no life, and I would hate it. If that's actually what he thinks, which it's not, anyone buy my cookbook? Anyone have me as their coach? Does it look like you need to do all those things to improve? Of course not. Friggin' cookbook, trade book, you can get those results. You can look way better without suffering. But his argument is, I don't want to have to do all that to improve. I'd like a little bit of improvement. I don't really want to be freaky. The fact that he's saying, no, I've never really been tempted because I just look too freaky, that is a silly answer. No one ever says that.
I competed twice before. And
Did you?
Yeah, 2014, 2015, WBFF.
Too bad he didn't compete in a drug-tested competition. At least he'd have to be natural on that day. And he'd probably have a decline in physique because he'd have to go off the stuff to pass the test on that given day.
I think there's a lot of people who would want to look like me. I don't want to be like brutal, but I want to be realistic with people. I think anyone should go out there with a mindset of trying to achieve their dreams and not letting anything stop them. But if someone is like kids, they're working like a really stressful job and they have, at the end of the day, really shit genetics, they're going to have a very, very hard time coming close to looking like me. So it's tough. And that's why I never ever say in my videos, you can look like me. I've never said that once.
And of course I agree with Mike. You shouldn't try to look like him. He's just too good. And I say, try to achieve halfway to your dream physique. That should be good enough because at least it's realistic. Most people's physique expectations are so high they'll never achieve it and they're constantly disappointed. They develop body dysmorphia, okay? You don't want that. That's why I keep preaching. Improve yourself, be the best you could be, but don't do so at the expense of feeling normal, having energy, and being happy, okay? Don't try to be a freak. Don't try to look like Mike Thurston. Try to be half as good as he is. Trust me, that's more than you need to do.
Most of my videos have been like to just help them eat better, eat the right things, and to just, more importantly, just lift with proper technique.
And again, I want to point out how he has quality information, and I do suggest you watch his videos. I'm not saying he has a bad channel. I'm just saying he's a fake Natty. The information he gives is great. Fake Natty, real Natty, natural, not natural. What he's saying is good quality information.
Technique is massive. Form, execution, intensity. Most people lack that when they go to the gym. So if everyone just focused on that a little bit more, they would be a hell of a lot closer to looking the way they want to look, or the best that they could possibly look.
And frankly, isn't it a very small detail that he's just not natural? All he'd have to do is say, I'm not natural, I'm on HRT, whatever. Everything he does would be amazing. It's just a small, and really, I don't care that he's not natural. It's just everybody wants to know, so I give the people what they want to know. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IBU Pro. Blue pin up the 2 videos. Be sure to watch them both. And until next time, I am out.